Mom and your dad, they sell drugs. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because they positioned themselves as having real occupations. Didn't know that? They did not let us know that they were drug dealers. The people in the community let me know that. And then they had to tell us the truth, the kids.
Welcome to another edition of Grow Heal Inspire with Tronda Talks. Guess what, y'all? I got Miss Aqueelah, Miss Cash Flow up in here today.
Hey.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it, sis. So, Miss Aqueelah, so we were sitting here having a conversation already, but tell people about what it is that you do.
So what I do, I help entrepreneurs obtain up to $250,000 in business credit and funding by helping them structure out their personal credit profile, optimizing it to leverage it to receive the maximum amount of funding, which is a skill set I learned because I was my first client.
Oh, I think she knows that that's not the only thing we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be talking about everything. So, in regards to Aqueelah, so, you know, me, you've had different kinds of conversations. And I guess I want to talk to you about you. Tell me about you.
So and I love this is why I'm so happy to be here, like to really like have a conversation about myself. Like a lot of people, they know Mrs. Cashflows, but they don't know Aqueelah. Aqueelah is a striver. Aqueelah has always just been like the hustler, come from real humble beginnings. Was born during the crack era, south side of Chicago, to a teen mom who also became victim of that. And she was addicted to crack. Transitioned that to her marrying her drug dealer. So I'm like every person. Like I represent the people who don't have, and I also represent the people who could get it out of the mud.
You know what's crazy is like living in a situation like that. You knew it. How old were you when you realized that your mother married her dope dealer?
That's an excellent question. I was 11 years old when they got married. I don't think I realized he was a drug dealer until maybe a year later. Maybe by the time I was like in 7th grade, when, oh no, this is an excellent question. I remember being in school and they told me, the school kids, they were like, oh, you just wear all those funky, flat, fresh clothes because, your mom and your dad, they sell drugs. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because they positioned themselves as having real occupations. Didn't know that? They did not let us know that they were drug dealers. The people in the community let me know that. And then they had to tell us the truth, the kids.
So it was you?
Yeah.
It was you, your brother?
So no, it was just, so I was the only child when my mom met him. Okay. And then it was sort of like it was a blended family.
Okay.
So he had 2 girls and a son. Mm-hmm. And so we all were like kind of coming together, and it was just me at the time. And then my mother ended up having 2 children.
So you saying that they didn't know that their daddy was a dope dealer?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I was older than them. Okay. So I'm only 11. Okay. Right? So, yeah. So, here it is. That was the first time I heard it.
Well, what did that feel like? Like your mother did you say your mother was hooked on drugs? Or what was it?
She was. And then, but my mother, she was addicted to crack. But I don't think
I can say this, though. I can say some things, too. I understand where you're coming from with that, because a lot of times what a lot of people don't realize is that people can be on drugs. You don't have to know they're on the drugs. I didn't know. There was things I didn't know about certain things in my household, about my family, that I didn't find out till later.
Yeah.
And then when I found out, I was just like in awe because of my gosh, like, y'all been keeping this a secret from me for this long.
They do.
And it's like, and when you find out, you're like, just kind of, it's like one of those things where you don't want to, I don't know, for me, I was older. I was actually here in Atlanta when I found some things out. And I don't want to say, no, like, y'all, I don't want fast by nobody. So I like this conversation was basically one of those things where I was kind of like, no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
And here's the thing that I don't like about it, right? When we keep secrets in our family, we don't know what we need to overcome. Absolutely. We don't really understand the pathologies, the hurt, the pain, the secrets. The secrets kill. So we don't even know what we need to heal from because no one is really willing to share the truth.
When you found that out, what were you feeling like? Just
at the time, it wasn't a bad thing because I was in an environment of people who sold drugs. So, but it was sort of a bad thing because come to find out, what I did not know was that my stepfather was a supplier to the local drug dealers. So
it's mad, but it was saying, God dang.
Yeah, he wasn't small time. My parents were literally millionaires.
So how is it that if your mom was on some situation where she was addicted to crack like that, how is he able to manage that? Because like dope dealers, how they be talking about,
don't get high off your own.
Yeah, that whole conversation. How that work?
So my mom, she wasn't on it too long. So she wasn't, her sisters. Okay. So my mom, her sisters, it was 7 of them. I want to say a good 6 out of the 7 were addicted to crack. My family, the women in my family, beautiful. My mom's beautiful. So thank you. So she never got to the point where her teeth came out. I think she was doing it just for a couple months.
And that's crazy too.
Yeah, she didn't get it torn down.
Yeah.
And my mom's thick. Yeah. She was thick. Her body was off the chain. She was a dancer, and she was beautiful. Yeah. Chocolate, short, 5'2", just beautiful. And she didn't get to the point where she was doing the drugs for so long that it tore her down. So he caught her and interrupted it. Okay. And so it was, I'm guessing that was how she was able to get off it.
Okay.
But what he did, he used religion. He was a Muslim. He was a Muslim.
Hold up for a second.
Yes, ma'am, let's sit on that.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and substitute to both the weed. He was a Muslim.
He was a Muslim.
They said doing dope,
selling it. They used to call him Candyman. Like he supplied everything. Yeah. Yeah. So the philosophy, so prior to him, my story has evolved and my perception of him has evolved over the years. In the beginning, I was used to not having structure.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. What do we do? In our 20s, I just felt like, like you owe me an apology. Like you let him come in. He was verbally abusive to me. I felt like a stepchild. I was the only one that really wasn't a part of the family. And then when I got older and I went through therapy, I saw it from his perspective. Therapy helped me see it from his perspective. Like I never respected him as a father. When in reality, him coming in my life at the time, he came into my life and provided structure because he was a very smart person. He had a master's degree, straight A's type person, and he drummed education into me, and intellect, and reading, and structure, and not being in the streets where my biological father was literally a gang leader and a street thug, like literally.
Wow, you've had it.
So yeah,
I had it kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
But yet you're still a shining star for others.
Yeah,
you have produced a lot of.
Thank you for that. Yeah, try.
When I go into ask those specific questions, I'm asking because I need to see and identify some of your foundation, and how you recreated it to fit where you are in this moment. Yeah, she just bought her a new house. Over $500,000 worth of a house. Let's just say that much, and and this is not her first property that she's owned, but it's the first one here in Atlanta.
Yeah. But
she's basically to see where, I don't know as much as I could know about her, but I know enough about you.
Yeah.
And I know enough to see how you work with people and how you change people's lives. And all these conversations we had when you told me like, hey, Sean, I just got off the phone with somebody and they got this, this, and this, and this. That's part of the life that, you know, like, you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
You know, like when you was growing up, did you see yourself being like the person that you are today?
No.
I just see, I mean, because, you know, like to say with me, I had nobody to really look up to when it came to where I wanted to be. I didn't know where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily lost. I knew what I wanted to be. So in other words, I was never lost, but I knew what I was going to be.
I didn't know. So with me, my parents being drug dealers and not being available to me, like emotionally or for conversations, a lot of things I used to have to figure out on my own. So when I say that I felt lost, so as I was going through my adolescence, I was going through issues, I was having male problems. So my biological dad, he was in jail or just on the streets. He didn't really reconnect and reform his life until I was 21. He came into my life and I was pregnant and I was 21.
Okay.
But prior to that, this is where I developed a spiritual practice. This is what I now know. I didn't know I was manifesting and I didn't even know it. We didn't have religion when I was young, prior to meeting my stepfather.
Okay.
That's my parents, my mom's family did not talk about church. No one went to church. No one made Bible quotes. None of that.
I don't care. Even though I ain't the biggest fan of religion,
there was no religion.
Spiritual person. That I believe that there should be some kind of a guidance to there being some kind of super being of life that can inquire within you or be within you to make you a better person, whether it's religion or being spiritual.
Here's what happened. I developed a spiritual practice, what I now know. I didn't know it. So I didn't know how to pray the way that they say, oh, God, and do this how the church people would do it, because I never was in church. I used to literally just talk to God. I'd be like, you know, like, hey, I would like a bite. You was praying and you didn't know you was praying. I didn't. I was having a regular conversation. That's awesome. Things would pop up. Another thing that used to happen, and I don't want to freak your viewers out. No, they will freak out.
Hold on for a second. First off, anybody who's on here is on here because they want to be here. Now, if you freaked out because somebody says something that you don't like, well, that's what it is. I mean, I want to hear it. So tell me,
weird things will happen. Weird things will happen. That's my first time mentioning it.
Let me tell you, I had weird things happen to me too. I believe in supernatural shit.
Weird things happen.
Supernatural stuff.
Weird things happen, right? I used to have what I now know called premonitions, but I didn't know they were called premonitions until I was in my 20s. So I literally developed this spiritual life where I would just like sit up and be like, I don't know what to do, so what should I do? You know, here's what I would like to happen. And this is what I found out. And I would say what I wanted, and it would happen, and it would appear. And then I got to the point when I was like in my teens. I used to be, I'm still like that today. So if anyone knows me, you cannot speak a certain way around me. You cannot have a certain type of emotion. I developed this way of being at a very young age. Because then I started saying to myself, like, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
Absolutely.
And I was getting what I asked for. I used to literally dream about things before it happened.
Nah, I just talked about this a few days ago. Again, and I love saying this. Not realizing that when we ask for something, we predicated it to our future. By that meaning, I've learned that what I was doing back in the day, back when I was younger, the same thing you're talking about, all the stuff that I talk about, becoming the truth and all this kind of thing, I learned that I was already in love with my future more than my present. And when I became more in love with my future, the present becomes, it's like you're drawing your future to you. And so I didn't know that when I would constantly say that. I just didn't know how to give the emotional attachment to it. When you know how to push the emotion with it, the faster your reality becomes what you've been asking for, becomes your demonstration. And you attach all that to it. And that's exactly what, you know, you had going on and not realize, yeah, it's like you embedded in, when you say spirituality is kind of a dripping emotion as well. It's an emotion tied behind what you feel for spirit. And so when you have this energy like, I want to be this, I want to do this, you are actually embedded within your spirit, all of that. You press it forward and you making it.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's already done. So I used to teach yoga.
Yeah.
And I'm still a heavy practitioner of yoga, like I always will. And at the end of my classes, my phrase used to be, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you think about all day long you create in your life. And that's very, very true. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't explain it.
Hey, you was innate like me. I call it innate. You had an innate ability as I had. It's the same kind of a thing.
And I dimmed it because it scared me. Yeah. I dimmed it and I stopped having premonitions. I was like, stop it. I was afraid.
I've been there.
I used to have it every day. Imagine dreaming you and me in these outfits the day before, but I had a different outfit hung up. But I didn't realize until we're sitting here and I'm like, I dreamed this scene last night. And we're sitting here. I'm talking to the point of the conversation, Tronda. And I'll be sitting here having this conversation with you and it'll come to me like I literally had this conversation already.
Now, are you willing to go back in that direction again and you're ready for it?
Yeah, but I think, and I say that, I think I scared it off and it went away, but guess what? It still happens. It doesn't happen as much as it does, but it happens.
Those like for me, when I used to be involved with that part of the world, they called it seers. That's what they would call it as well as, because I also was the same way. I had like a craziness. I'm kind of craziness the same way. I don't share this with nobody.
Me either. And the only person I ever shared it with was my mom, and she was like, I get it. My mom is she just like your cheerleader or whatever. I was like, don't tell nobody. Like, I didn't want to tell anyone.
Because it's freakish. It's like, it's very freakish. But people don't realize, like, that was actually, you know what's crazy? Not so crazy, but you know what? The Bible talks about all of that. It literally does. And whether it's your opinion in regards to it being devilish or it's your opinion in regards to it being something that you're basically like, you know, what you were seeing, whatever it is, I feel it personally like that's who you were and that's who you are. As long as you ain't doing that crazy with it, I think you're fine. Or that you were fine.
Yeah. What I know now is if I was more aware of that power, I probably would be someone doing like root work or something like that. Yeah, like for real. That's what I'm saying. Like if I really would have went that way,
no, ma'am.
That probably would have just evolved to something else. I don't know.
No, we couldn't have you doing no root work.
What, is root work bad?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. Why is it bad?
Root work is usually like, root work is basically putting people up on a certain kind of a...
Oh, I thought, like a spell. Oh, I thought root work was more like, we're going to make the spiritual type thing. Oh, root work is people being...
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what you think?
Yeah. I thought root work was more so like, hey...
Somebody pull out the Google thesaurus and ask us what it is.
Is it that? I don't know. I don't know, because that's why it scared me, because in my natural world, I felt like I was wrong because no one could relate.
There you go. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was like, this isn't supposed to be happening. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
So let me stop it, and it stopped. I asked it to stop. I was like, I don't want to see it. Don't show me anything. I literally asked to stop, and it stopped. They was like, okay, Aqueelah.
Well, I did something very similar.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I had, and it only came about when I was really close to death. I had lost so much blood out of my body. And I wound up getting in a situation where the doctor told me that if I came in any later, I probably wouldn't be in the world today, more or less. Now, apparently, I believe, what is your time is your time, because there's been several situations where I felt as though it could have been then, but it wasn't. God's, when he's ready for. He already had that conversation with me when I was born. So long story short, when I started having this, I started getting headaches. And I remember when I started tapping into it, I don't know if you want to call it your third eye or not, because you can definitely call it that. But when I started tapping into this particular kind of energy, I found that I wind up, I remember this lady, I didn't open up, but I remember this lady, she was basically, basically what I did was I started a business using this energy or this particular spiritual insight. And when I used it, I was like, this is interesting. Like I could tell somebody like I remember like telling someone what the beginning of an initial was, or I could tell them that somebody's coming to me in conversation. But I started doing a little bit more reading, and I realized that there's an energy you need to turn off, like things like that. So anyway, there were certain things that was coming to me, and I would go up to someone just like you, and I'd say, hey, there's this person, their name starts with a T or whatever it is, and they'll say something like, they told me that they're like your grandparent or your mother or something like that. And they were like, the person be like, yeah. And out of all the alphabets and the whole alphabetical chart, I really couldn't convince me. I would say the letter T or whatever, and I'll tell them what it was. And they were like, they wanted me to tell you this, right? So I wound up saying, and I did that several times for a lot of people, and I was doing it here and there. Every time I got a headache, I needed to speak. And I would go talk to someone and tell them what I was feeling for them, whether it be for what I was feeling for them for somebody else, or what I was feeling for them because of what I was just feeling just in general. Yeah. So long story short, I remember this lady, I did some work with her. Lady came to my home, and she was like really just in turmoil, more or less. She was just hurting. She was hurting for the passing of her son. And she basically came to me, and she was like talking to me, and we were talking, and I told her what I was getting, and I told her about, I said, I didn't know it was really her son. I said, this person is coming to me right now. And I gave her the nettles of the kid's person name. I said how old he would, but I told her how old he would have been that year. Okay. Because he had passed away longer. I said, someone about the age of, would have been or couldn't be this age. And then I said, he told me to tell you to stop blaming the best friend. Basically, she blames the best friend because he was shot by the best friend. And he said, now I was trying to get the gun from the best friend, and I wind up shooting myself, more or less. And that's what he told me to tell her. And I told her. And then to reaffirm or to confirm that it was actually him, I told her, I said, look, he said something about there being teddy bears that you had given to him. And that he had given to her. And I said, the teddy bear, there's one in particular, one that you keep on your bed. And you also keep them in your car from him. And she just started bawling. She was like, you confirmed everything. So
I thought that was considered root work. That's not root work. That's like, what do you call that?
That's it. I don't know. I put it up to like, I don't know what you want to call it.
Well, a lot of people,
but I don't play with it. I left it alone just like you did. I did the same thing.
A lot of people,
like that was too much. It was too much in there. Like, it was like they told me that my uncle, I had an uncle that did all this kind of things.
And, oh, really?
Yeah.
That's in your family?
Yeah. So he was a pastor. He was a preacher. And he was basically, from my little country town, he was basically the person that everybody came to for conversation in regards to how to live their life and all this kind of stuff. Honestly, I stopped believing in psychics and all that because there was conversations I would have with people because I believed in this stuff at one point, but I don't believe in it anymore because I really believe that because we can read people's minds, you can feel that energy being associated with whatever they need. So what I was doing when I was talking to those other people, maybe I was reading their minds. I don't know. Maybe I could get a sense of their
energy.
Yeah, I was in their energy, and I think that's kind of what I feel. Yeah. Because when people were telling me these quote unquote psychic stuff like that, when they were telling me things, they were telling me things based off what I knew.
Right.
And so when I really found out the true story about one particular story, it was not that way.
Okay.
So I stopped it.
Okay. Because did you like tell people what you were feeling and thinking unsolicited?
No.
You've never done that?
No.
Okay, one time.
I bet y'all didn't know y'all was about to go into spiritual.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah.
This is supposed to be Grow Healing Inspired. Like, we done went to some other stuff. So some of y'all might want to tune out right now because I don't know where we're about to go with this. But we're going to get back to the Grow Healing and Inspiration in a minute on Trying to Talk. This is going to get back to I have to get into this because it's rare to hear a person talking
on
about
talks like that.
No, they do.
Because some people may experience it, but they're afraid. But I'm not afraid anymore. I mean, we are afraid of being judged. But I'll tell you what happened to me. I'll never forget. when I first lost my business and I was like broke in Chicago. I was flat broke. It had to be like a good 3 months into it. I'm like literally living hand to mouth. I'm literally hiding from the guy turning off the lights so I can act like I wasn't home. He was knocking on my door to try to serve me the papers for eviction.
So you tell me they couldn't evict you unless they serve you them papers?
No. But I was a landlord, so I knew that. Very be quiet. Turn off the lights.
Be quiet. You got it.
You know, and it was very humiliating. And I'll never forget, I was in a Jewel. Now, I used to shop Whole Foods because, you know, whole paycheck foods, right? Because, you know, they like that, right?
Oh, I'm about to lose some people already because they like cats.
So I used to shop at Whole Foods. Now, you know, money is funny, so I'm at Jewel.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't eat organic.
It's Jewel like the fruit, like the
Jewel is owned by, I think Jewel and Kroger are
okay.
Yeah. So Kroger.
Okay.
So then Jewel. So when I was at the top of my game, I used to shop the outside of the grocery store with the fruits and the vegetables and the expensive stuff and food. I'm in the aisle.
Yeah.
In the aisle, and there's kind of like a woman I see her, you know, so I maybe want to type. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Now I'm over there by like where the fruits and stuff are a little bit. And she's like, look, I wasn't going to say anything. She said, but I have to say it. Now I'm flat broke.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're going to be very successful. I had to tell you that. The spirit is telling me that you are going to be very successful. I tried to ignore it, but I just couldn't ignore it. I don't want anything. I just had to let you know. And she walked out of the door and I looked.
That's the stuff that I was doing at one point.
And I started crying because I felt it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not feeling successful right now. But it was like,
yeah,
I just have to give you this message. And I was like, well, yeah. And she was not weird looking. She was a regular, sophisticated looking woman.
Tell you, that's where
She said, you are going to be wildly successful.
I was doing that and I stopped. That's the same way I would approach another person. I don't even know that from the street, but I had to say something.
That's what she said. She said, I tried to ignore it, but I had to say it.
Say something.
And it was like that. And she walked out. And I thought about her when I got my bankruptcy off. I said, I wonder if this is that woman, what she was talking about. Because I don't know. Maybe I just needed the encouragement at that time. Maybe that's who you were. A human angel sort of thing. Like,
that's what people were calling me when I was doing that.
And I think, I can't say for sure, but I was at my lowest point. Maybe I needed to hear that at that moment. And I'm pretty sure it had some form of impact.
Yeah. It probably did because I was already, remember, if it's innate within you already.
Yeah.
All she did was help bring it to surface, bring it inside you. She basically enforced or implied something that knew that was already there, and you just acknowledged it and said, okay, thank you. Sometimes words from somebody that you don't know has more of an impact on somebody that you do know.
I couldn't even say thank you. I just was like in shock. And she walked off. And it was like a feeling that came over me that I still can't even explain to this day, to the point where I was feeling defeated. But what she said, it was like, she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I didn't know how at that point. I didn't know why or what, but it was just like, and I just felt like she was telling the truth.
And that's what changed your life?
I don't know.
So how did you get from this point where at that point where you're at one of your lowest point from her speaking those words to what happened after that?
I'm not going to say that she was connected to me changing. Okay. You know how like people will plant a seed?
Yes.
But what did happen to me when I was at my lowest point, the night before the change happened for me, I can remember the moment like it was yesterday. It's like 8 p.m. at night. I'm watching television the guy, they call him the servitor, the evictor, and come on bikes. So in Chicago, the landlord will go down to the sheriff's office and they'll pay like $75. I know because I was a landlord. And they will pay a servitor to serve you. In the state of Illinois, if they do not serve you, you can't rightfully go to court. Well, I think in the state of Georgia, whether you receive the being served or not, you're out, right? That's not the case. Yeah, that's not the case in Chicago, right? Like Atlanta is like, hey, we gave the pay January the 2nd, okay, on January 18th, we came stuff out. February 2nd, you are out. See, Chicago, they don't throw your stuff out, your things out. Like, it's crazy. And I was allowed to stay there a good, funny, I'm ashamed to say, a good 9 months, so it's free.
9 months without filing bankruptcy, going to court or anything.
Rent free.
They still like that now?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of the worst places to be an owner.
Oh, wow.
Almost. But it's tactics around there. You can do something called pay for keys and all that. I've done it before. But you're like, well, hey, Aqueelah, I know you're having a hard time. How about I give you $2,000 to move out on the 1st? I'm like, okay.
It's like that?
Yeah, I mean, you'd rather get that person out for $2,000 to have and lose $18,000 from them sitting in your house for months, right? So it's a scam. But we have in Chicago what are known as professional renters. Like, people will go places and professionally understand that I could stay here for a good year or two without paying rent. That's very scamming, but that was not me, guys. I promise. I was in a really dire situation.
Say that now.
Yeah, and but this is where it changed for me. He was there, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I literally like cried myself to sleep in the dark because I had turned off all the lights. I woke up that next morning, and it was like, what are you going to do? What's your next best move? Because I was depressed, or I kept focusing on the loss. Got up that morning.
Focusing on the loss. Where your energy go? Your energy will flow.
Yep. And I used to have like a little table. Top-notch furniture, right? I had nice stuff. I had a beautiful view. Like, the sun woke me up. I hadn't paid rent.
Nah.
The sun will wake me up.
You had enough time to have a baby.
A whole new life. I had floor to ceiling windows, 10 feet thick, at least a good 14, 15 feet high, right? Beautiful condo and apartment. So, I get up, I grab my journal and I look at it. I noticed I hadn't journaled in months. Can't remember the exact date, but it was over 3 months. It was during the entire time of my depression. Get up, and I wrote in there.
This got to
like, what is your next best move?
That was a movement.
That was a question I asked myself. Like, what is your next best move? Like, you lost it all. You don't have any money. You don't know what you're going to do, but what will be the next best move for you?
Now, was this during the time when you had your baby? Were you pregnant at the time?
No. No, my son, yeah, he was with me. He was living with me, actually. Yeah, a teenager. And,
yeah, this is a single mommy.
Yeah.
She's a single
single parent. But I was also responsible for my mother and her 2 children. It was crazy. Whew. And no one really knew that I was struggling with what I was struggling with. That is amazing.
So at that time, your mother was by herself, more or less then? So you had to kind of take care of her.
I was responsible for her.
And the 2 kids.
And her kids and me. And
I just typed in somebody the other day, they tell me how the black man had to do these kind of things. And I know she's a gorgeous lady, so I mean, my question is, why you have nobody take care of you?
So my 7-year relationship ended. The love of my life
was answered like that.
Yeah, it did. Y'all.
You was y'all like
that. And let me tell you, for her camera. Is it her?
She with the camera, bro.
This camera.
It was camera right here.
This one? Young. Okay. So I thought I was this boss. And my man, I was with for 7.5 years, was like, look, we're not going to keep doing this. We need to get married. I'm like, well, I don't think we need to get married. We doing just fine.
Because I'm asking her why he ain't take care of her ass.
Oh, he took care of me. He was so good. He was so great. I loved him. It was my best friend. And you know what? If you ever come across this video, you already know. We still friends. But, you know, like it was really like the love of my life, right? Nothing went wrong. We only broke up because I wouldn't commit. I wasn't cheating. So I don't want people to get confused. Commit means jump over the broom and get married and move in with him.
Now, see, this is different.
Yeah.
Because y'all don't understand, like, again, I was talking about it today. They were talking about a woman could just be, and she get take care of her. You had a relationship with someone that was got a baby and everything. You good to go. And you decided to say no. What was that about?
Come to find out in therapy, get therapy. In therapy, remember my interesting upbringing, drug dealer parents and all of that. On top of that, should I share it here? I will go ahead and share it.
It's already going out. Let's go. We ready. Got the camera directly on you right there.
I think this may help someone. Anyone who comes up under the sound of my voice.
It's down right there.
So my parents, my stepfather and my mom, they were in a polygamous situation. So unbeknownst to me, I just flat out told myself I didn't believe in marriage. So my stepfather was married to another woman and he married my mom.
Okay.
So that sounds sad, but unbeknownst to me, I was on autopilot. Unbeknownst to my partner, he's just thinking to himself, like, I'm the perfect guy for you, but you're rejecting me. You don't love me. That's what he was saying. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not that I don't love you. I didn't have a reason why I wouldn't move forward. I didn't know why. Guys, we are a product of the experiences. And here's what I learned. And let me tell you, I'm not a professional therapy candidate.
If y'all didn't think about my conversation with therapy starts within you.
It really does.
Starts within you.
It really
I
does.
put it through therapy because of the fact that sometimes they give us a diagnosis that don't really see the person as they need to be. Sometimes, unless anybody does that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't allow you to work on you the way you need to work on you at times. But
I agree.
In conversation, and it's like you're talking to this person, but this person is giving you a diagnosis of what they understand and interpret. That does not, just like I went to the doctor. I could be sitting over here having, I have COVID symptoms, but as a matter of fact, the only thing really going on with me is that I have a regular cold.
If you're dealing with book text people, let me tell you, I never believed in therapy because remember, I'm spiritual and introspective, right? If you're dealing with like a book text person, I can see that to be true. And the reason I'm telling you guys, I'm not like someone that gets therapy and I didn't voluntarily get therapy.
Yeah.
So God has revealed himself to me several times. Once when a woman touched me, another time when I was staring down the barrel of a gun. And this was one of them. I'm at church, like with a friend. And she's like, girl, I just need to go, I'm going to stop at the therapy booth, after this session. And I'm signing up for therapy. And this is right before me going broke. This is literally everything that happened in my life. I can now look back and say, it was supposed to happen. So now I'm still balling. I'm getting $200,000, $300,000 a year when my short-term rental business.
What's your man?
It's what my, this is me. He worked for ComEd at the time. My guy, he had some type of supervisor because
I'm still trying to figure out
ComEd.
I know you went to therapy.
But guess what? Liz wouldn't allow me to pay for anything. And I was with him. And I made double, triple what he would make.
Yeah, but you still wanted to. Wait. You still didn't marry you.
No, let me tell you what.
Okay, that's why I want to get to people.
So when we get there, the therapist is like, sign up, it's free. And I was rejecting it. I'm with him at the time. I was like, I don't need therapy, And she was like, well, you're Black, you need therapy. And I was like, okay. I signed the clipboard. I had no intention on going, Tronda. I had no intention on attending this therapy session. Yeah. This is how I know I was led.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, my name pop up. My relationship break up abruptly. Because he flat out was like, look, we need to do this. We need to. Imagine being with someone for 7 years, but you won't even move in with them. Now I know how he felt.
This guy was a good
guy, good, perfect man. This is my friend. This is everything. Everything I could want in a man. It was my husband, and I rejected him. Right? I was like,
he's still out there,
but I didn't.
I'm just playing.
Maybe he is.
He's still out there, bro. You know what I mean? Listen to these words. She coming out of my. She's sorry.
And I had to. I know I did apologize. I did apologize because I messed him up, right? Because it's like, why are you rejecting me? Like I'm pouring into you, and we won't move forward. But I didn't know. I didn't personally know. And I get to this therapist. She's like the top person at Northwestern Hospital, even though she attended our church. My pastor had literally created a therapist office with real therapists. For volunteer who were members of the church. The therapist I ended up getting was the one who opened this one and who also was running the department at Northwestern Hospital. And she was a Black woman. And she spoke to me from a spiritual perspective. It wasn't so much like from the book. So my situation with my therapy was unique. It wasn't a book text person. She diagnosed me immediately. She said, I have what is known as PTSD of relationships. When she heard my story and my history, she said, well, the part I'm skipping over is the trauma that I experienced from my son's father, which was my major relationship. She said, it was your first major relationship. So that was really the reason I didn't believe in moving forward. So he come to find out he mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically abused me. I had a conversation with her and she was like, were you ever molested as a child? Because I would jump when my current boyfriend or boyfriend would touch me in my sleep, I'd fight him up. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Well, I don't know why they say I do that when you sleep. She said, because when you're asleep, you're the most vulnerable.
Okay.
She said, do you know, she was like, think about that. Come back. And I say, whoa. I said, my son's father used to force me to have sex on him for years. I was with him for 10 years prior to this guy. And she was like, that's rape. She was like, a lot of the times as Black people, we go through so much that we don't even realize abuse when it's happening.
It's kind of like,
I didn't even call it rape. So it a lot of the things that were happening to me, she said, I said, well, how can I allow someone that I haven't been with for over 12 years to affect me? She said, you didn't process it properly.
Absolutely. I guess I must have processed a lot of things properly because I know I've had a lot of life. I had some things happen very to some degree.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the hell I got it. How I got over it to where,
look how introspective you are. I wasn't like a real introspective person. I was like, okay, we're broken up. I'm done. I'm free. And I never addressed none of that. Yeah. And that's what she said. She said, you never addressed it. You never thought about it. You never talked about it. I said, no, I just walked away like I'm free and thought I was okay. And I was not. I was not okay. I'm still struggling to this day. I was not okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm, I to hear that a lot. I mean, and I get it, and I respect all those who definitely go to the therapist and talk to that. But I always say it begins in there, and I guess that's the thing what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Because with me, I'm that kind of person where I'll go within and I'll cure myself or whatever that is first.
Yeah.
And I'll say, listen here, this is what I'm saying, and I'm getting it out my chest. I forgive, and I move on from that. I let go.
I like that.
That way, because it's like I can't change what's happened, but I can't change the way I feel about it. I can detach my emotional conversation or the way I'm feeling about that situation from the past and create something new.
Oh, that's a huge, you have to be an evolved type. It took me a while to get there. You have to be a certain type of evolved person to get to that level of thinking and being. Like, that's not easy. See, that's what I'm saying. The average person can't do that. And so I think God was like, we're about to change the trajectory of your life because it literally did. You're not getting it. So the only way you can get this information is either by somebody walking up to you in the grocery store, or I'm just going to have to railroad you because you're not getting it. And that was another time he revealed himself to me because
I acknowledge it and see.
Yeah.
you know?
I wouldn't have never went to therapy. And the things I was struggling with at that time, Tronda, I don't think I would be here talking to you if those things weren't addressed. So it was like I wasn't able to do what you do and go internal and address it. So it was like, let me help you out.
Sometimes I find it weird that I do that stuff.
That's not weird.
Because it's like, not everybody can be on the same page on more every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go to thinking about, like, I'll use me and my husband's relationship, like, something might happen where we get into a disagreement, a little spat or something, right? And it's rare we would do that. But long story short, let's say, for example, he do something and he ticks me off, right? Or he don't really tick me off, or he's mad at me about something, right? And I know it's his fault. In my head, it's his fault.
Right.
I'll go up to him and be like, I forgive you.
No way. He's supposed to be mad at you.
Yeah.
Because he think you wrong. But you tell him,
I forgive you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, no.
My camera, what we doing?
You right there?
Brad, you're not going for that.
No, but that's what I do, though.
I
say, I forgive you. I stop.
That sounds like reverse psychology.
That's what I think that. Why I say it. And it's not me. He mad at me, but I ain't doing nothing wrong. I ain't doing nothing wrong, right? But he for that. I forgive you for being upset or saying those things you might have said or whatever that is. I forgive you.
Okay, for you.
You know why I do it?
That's all I use that.
Yeah, I forgive you. And the reason why I do that is that I say I forgive you because in my head, I ain't doing nothing wrong, right? And why I feel like and then when I do that, what it does is I always brings to attention, well, baby, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I was did a donkey or something, whatever. I say, where is
I forgive you.
I forgive you. Yeah, but I did that because in my head, I've already forgiven the energy. There was a time in this situation. In my head, I've already adjusted.
Easy. You got that, right?
I don't, because I've always been that way.
Yeah, so it's normal to you.
Yeah,
so it is weird to other people.
Yeah, so I'll be like, I forgive you, but it's even if even if it's something that he might not have realized that he did.
Yeah,
I'm still say I forgive you.
Yeah,
because I'm done with it. I'm really, really, really done with it.
Yeah,
it's just something that I don't really think he's done with.
And I like that you do that because I've been in 3 long relationships that were like marriages, but not quite, right? Because I feel like a marriage there's no option for breaking up. That like breaking up is not an option. And I haven't been in that situation yet, where I was in a 10-year relationship, a 6-year relationship, and a 7-year relationship, but we're not married because I wouldn't marry them 3. So yeah, breaking up is an option. Yeah, right. But if you're together and you're married, so I like that you do that. You got to come up with, I don't think what you're doing is a creative way, but I feel like whomever is married needs to take that advice, because it's more so like, I'm going to let you off the hook. Let's let this off the hook. Let's not allow this off the hook. Yeah,
that's off the hook. So
and
I started like, I forgive you. And if there's something that I did to affect you too, let me know that.
Yeah.
But I'll say that. And that'd be the first to say, I forgive you. So another's that way of saying, if I did something wrong, I am saying,
it's like it's done.
Yeah, and I'm sorry too.
So we don't need to keep this energy up, because what
I think
it's work.
I want to let it go. I let it go, and I'm hoping they would do the same.
Yeah, when you come, it's like, we're letting this off the hook. You okay? Forget me. And it's like, you know what? Yeah. Like, I like you. Like, you might look in, like, when we start liking you. So I like that.
That's what he did too. He'll give me hell.
Yeah.
A little bit. Then he works it out. That's hot.
Well, he can't let you get off so easy, right?
I'm already knew that, because I really do not like to hold
grudges.
I don't hold grudges. I don't.
That's good. I mean, that's so good.
I just kind of let myself be what it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm
not a grudgeful person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to get it over and done, but not to that level where you're like, I forgive you. Yeah, that's good. You want to put that in my pocket?
You should move it, because it moves. Because it's like when you learn, anybody who knows me, forgiveness is a major part of healing. It's a major part of.
I've learned that,
and it's like, if you do not heal from any perspective of life, or every perspective in your life that has caused you any harm, you can't move forward.
No,
there's no way.
It comes
and if you have a relationship with someone, or you have a friendship, or whatever it is you want to call it, and you don't know how to move past the emotional sensation or the feeling attached to it, sometimes we as humans get addicted to the emotion that we're having with other things that are going on with our lives. We get addicted to feeling a certain way. We get addicted to being able to say to ourselves, like, okay, well, I feel this way. I want to feel this way. I'm going to sit in this way.
They come to an emotional home.
Yeah, you get addicted to it.
It's an emotional.
Instead of like readjusting yourself to find another way to get into your emotional space, or not be addicted to the emotion of feeling angry or sad or whatever that is. Sometimes that those things, they are addicted to that emotion. They are. They're like,
so they find ways to go back to that.
Yeah, it's be okay with being there. When you're not okay with being there, you're going to be quick to say, I forgive you. I'm not okay with being there.
Yeah, because your emotional home is harmony and peace. Like, my emotional home is to be happy and laugh. So as I got older, I never really was a person that held grudges. What I would do, if the situation wasn't working out, you're someone that was toxic, I'll just cut you off. And I wouldn't like work through it. But now that I'm older,
that's what you did in your relationship.
Yeah, I did it in my life. Because I just want to feel good. I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And I'll cut you off. But now, in my older age, I figure out what it is. And I don't cut people off, because when you look up, you'll be like me with nobody to call, because you can cut everybody off. Right? So now it's more so like, well, how can we work this out? Or because now I'm more forgiving. It's like, you're human. You're human. So I'm not upset when you slight me, or doesn't mean that I'm going to allow you to do something. Some things require that you no longer can be in my space.
Like, you just adjust the personality and energy. And that's what I do. If it's someone that does something to me in a certain way, right? And I have a tendency to be like, well, I know how to work with you now.
Yes.
I know how to work with you now. So
there you go.
You might not get this, might not get that.
You're in a new position,
a new place. Yeah.
You're in a new role.
Right.
I said this to a friend. You're on the business list.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like,
healthy, bro.
Yeah, and sometimes like you have this, my friend, right? This is a person, because we need friends. We need that, love and care and circle. But then some people can violate that. Some people can abuse that. Some people, you know how that goes. But yeah, I think the best thing out of this entire interview, guys, was I forgive you. Use that, like 100%. Unpack it in there. It's good. Oh, thank you. I'll let you know how it goes.
You put that on this chat.
Yeah.
For those of y'all heard that, that's what that is. I forgive you. When it comes to forgiveness, forgive. Forgive and forget the attachment to that emotional or that situation. Forgive it. Watch how beautiful life becomes. Because when you allow yourself to forgive the emotion, it's just the feeling that is associated with that situation.
Yeah.
Like in your situation where there was the abuse, and even if you just went in just a little bit and said that I forgive you,
I forgave all of it.
Yeah, when you forgive the thing of it, yeah, and then you did that, change your life, right?
It did. That's how I became who I am today.
Exactly.
But it was through the therapy. Yeah, it was the catalyst of that, and making me aware of it.
And I ain't never had no therapy like this. I've never had therapy like
that. Was my only therapy, 6 weeks. And I called everyone, even my ex, and I told them my issue. And he was like, thank you for that, because I thought it was me. I called all 3 of them. I'm not saying I want to get back with you. I'm just letting you know what was revealed in therapy, and I'm sorry. And they were like, I accept your apology. And we became friends. But at first, I cut all of them off.
Yeah, because you still had that
energy.
You still had that energy attached to what's going on to their situation, your situation with them. That's what I'm saying.
That's a great example of that.
Yeah. When you disassociate that energy or that emotion attached to it,
free.
The freedom of forgiveness is beautiful.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I always feel like I'm cheating because of the fact that that's my cheat code by, I forgive you. Even though you did nothing to me, but you still did, and I'm telling you I forgive you.
Because when you really think about it, people are just human. Everyone is on their own path to wherever they need to go and be and evolve to who they come to.
Absolutely.
See, I want mine to.
This is a casual conversation.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. How long have we been going? I don't know. About 2 hours. But yeah,
Yeah, so good.
that's good.
Worth it. It was worth it for sure. Well, y'all already know. Keelah, you got anything you want to tell everybody else? I mean, if we did anything in here that was valuable to anybody,
Yeah.
my thing was basically to get this conversation from her, about her, who she is as a person, her dynamics of how she lived, how she used to live, and she shared a lot of that with us. And I can't appreciate it more to say, thank you.
Yes. What I would leave your listeners with is, I think what you're doing here is amazing. Like, Grow, Heal, and Inspire the name in itself is amazing, right? Do something that feeds your soul.
Absolutely.
If you listen to any part of my story, when I was at my worst, I stopped my spiritual practice for months. And I went into a deep depression because I was no longer tapped in. I was just looking at the reality of the world, and I didn't have vision for myself. Writing, journaling, meditation, find your spiritual formula, whatever that may be, something that feeds you. I feel like spirituality is your relationship with yourself.
It
so
is.
What are you? Yeah.
It's your relationship also.
Yeah.
Your creative being,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it.
Your real self.
Everything. It's creation. Your spirituality is definitely that. I agree. It's your connection.
Find it, guys, because you will get disappointments in life. People will disappoint you. Things will disappoint you. Things will happen.
Yeah.
But that spiritual grounding is what's going to pull you through at the end of the day. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me, for sure.
You're welcome. Now, thank you for being here. As we say, as you can see, she definitely has grown, and she's definitely healed others and healed herself.
Yeah.
And she's basically been an inspiration to me and those to others.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate you sharing as much information as you shared before. And I definitely have to have you back again as well, because there's other things I'm sure we need to talk about.
Yes.
Thank you guys for signing in, being a part of Grow, Heal, Inspire. Bye.